It comes up every time. Don't you know the WHO says
Yeah.
meat will give you cancer, you know? Even if you could trust that the methodology was robust, which it isn't
Mhm.
or wasn't, the hazard ratios of 1.18 are just so infinitesimally small that really nobody should be paying. I don't think anybody should be paying any attention to those. When you consider the noise in the system that probably surrounds that hazard ratio, um, it's just a nonsense, to be honest. Let's forget that meat might be bad for you. How about meat might actually be good for you?
Mhm.
So the fact that there was a study came out in, I can't remember where, Nature, I think, showing that L-carnitine has a cardioprotective effect. And then, you read further down the paper and it tells you where you get L-carnitine, okay? And of course you get it from meat, fish, eggs, and especially from meat. So here we could be having a narrative that says if you want to prevent heart disease and keep your heart healthy, make sure you have a bit of meat every day. And we don't hear that because those studies are never given the prominence. Never. I never see them advertised, sort of promoted in our mainstream press over here. I don't know if you do in Australia, but
Mm. People say, well, carnitine is not an essential amino acid. Obviously, we make it, so that's
no.
a moot point.
Mhm.
But that's not quite true because there are a lot of studies actually show that more is better. Yes, we do make it, but not everybody does. Only 30%. 30% of people don't make enough or even at all. Specifically
Yeah,
to
yeah.
with your brain, I don't know if you came across this, but there was a study out of Texas A&M that looked at autism, and they found that there were higher rates of autism in parents who were vegan and vegetarian, and they found this connection with carnitine. And so it was in these children
Yeah.
who weren't able to make enough carnitine, and they weren't getting it from their diet because it doesn't exist in plants or fungus. And since they
Yeah.
weren't eating meat, and they especially weren't eating red meat, which is a very high amount of carnitine, that they were deficient. And unfortunately, it's unfortunate that they weren't getting it, but carnitine is integral for the development of neurons. And
Right.
so, they were getting a misdevelopment of their neurons, and unfortunately they were getting intellectual impairment as a result, which is
Yeah.
absolutely tragic.
We were talking about this, and I mentioned that I knew of somebody who had cured their bipolar, for instance, with a meat-heavy ketogenic diet. That ketogenic diets were, which are meat-heavy, are used to treat epilepsy and autism, and that people are seeing good results. Well, the reason I got into trouble is this person objected to the very idea that we should be trying to treat or cure epilepsy and autism and view them as illnesses. So there's a kind of political correctness that sets in
Mm.
when you're talking about this stuff as well, right? You have to be very careful because I guess she was coming from the school of thought that said, what's wrong with autism?